Welcome back for another week of Daily Fantasy NASCAR. I'm Chris Durrell, and I'm here for dailyfantasysportsrankings.com, DFSR.com for short. And this week we got the FireKeepers Casino 400 from Michigan International Sppedway. It's a 2-mile D-shaped oval, quite similar to what you see at Auto Club Speedway in distance and the D-shaped oval. A little bit of the difference is that Michigan has 4 degrees more banking, creates a little bit more speed. The last repave was a little bit closer to now, so we also get a little bit more grip there. So we're going to see speeds over 200 miles an hour this week. So what I'm going to do here in this video is I'm going to navigate through my article down to the bottom here. You can read through, see my preview, see some of the trends from the cheat sheet. What we're going to do here, though, is we are going to click on this picture here and open your own copy, as well as the race-by-race trend sheet. To open that up as well. So what you're going to want to do when you open those up, the first thing as always, go to the file, make a copy, name it whatever you want. I named it Chris's copy. Click OK. What that's going to allow you to do is to come up here in the weighting system part of it and change things around if you wish, just to kind of, if you think current form's a little more important this week or final practice is even more important, you can throw that in there. If you want to put some weight on final practice 10-lap average, I haven't yet. I just entered that data now, so I'm probably gonna tweak this around a little bit myself going forward. So the one that you're gonna download later, you're gonna see a little bit different. It also allows you to sort the columns. So what you can do if you want to see average finish last 2 years at this track, you just click on anywhere in that O column, click on data, and sort A to Z, which would be lowest to highest. And then we can see the drivers that have done the best here over the last 2 years. So I'm not going to get too much into the trends, the last 2-year track history, career track history, track type history, anything like that. I do that through the article. What I'm going to do here, I want to highlight a few things, go over some notes, look at the salary trends, and then give you some of my top picks for the week. So right off the bat, just give you a couple notes. Ty Dillon, he qualified 24th, but it was disallowed as they had a legal body modification, so they will start from the rear of the field. They will get place differential points from the rear of the field. He's going to be super chalky this week, probably the highest owned driver, especially in cash games. I'll definitely be using him in cash games looking forward. Looking at GPP plays, though, he's someone you can probably not put a whole lot of weight on. The nice thing is he's starting 39th, so there is no negative place differential there, so that's definitely going to push that ownership up. Second note, Jimmy Johnson spun in the first practice, had some damage to the car. Originally they were going to fix the car. They've gone to a backup. They will go to the back of the field, but he will still get his place differential from 13th. AJ Allmendinger spun late in final practice. I haven't heard anything if they're going to a backup car yet, so stay tuned. I will throw an update up on Twitter here once the video's over and I look into that. Trevor Bayne, he's got a backup driver ready, Ryan Reed, to jump into the car. Should Trevor Bayne, I believe he's having a baby within the next few days. Here is their due date, so he might have to leave. Now on that, I looked at the DraftKings rules just to kind of clarify things, and what we got here is the driver eligibility, position eligibility, and what I take from that, from reading that, is that if Ryan Reed takes over the car before the start of the race, Trevor Bayne will get 0 points, but as long as Trevor Bayne starts the race, if Ryan Reed were to take over during a caution, red flag, anything like that, Trevor Bayne will accrue all of the points that Ryan Reed finishes with at the end of the race. So as long as Trevor Bayne starts, I think he's a great play this week. He's been pretty consistent from a DFS standpoint this week, or this season, I mean. Daniel Suarez, I think he's going to be, I'll show him later, he's going to be a good GPP play, kind of a pivot, because he had a flat tire after qualifying. They had to change tires. That puts him to the rear of the field, but keeps him with his original starting position as well when looking at place differential, which is 20th. So coming through the field's pretty tough here at Michigan. The correlation, looking at the last 6 races here at Michigan, we see 3 times that driver that won the race started up front, and then just looking at the correlations, is pretty high compared to other tracks when looking at starting position. So coming through the field is going to be tough. So again, I think Daniel Suarez definitely makes a good GPP play. Just because he's starting from the rear of the field, he's probably going to be 2-3% owned at the most. We get 200 laps here at Michigan. That's 40 more than last week at Pocono. So there's a few more laps there for guys to lead. Bumps up Dominator points just a little bit, but As we see again, going back and looking at the last 6 races at Michigan, we see that only twice a driver's led over 100. Last year we had 4 over 30, between 30 and 41 laps led. Carl Edwards had 41 here in 2015 spring, or I guess it would be June, so it's not really spring. And then Kevin Harvick, 63. So you're not going to get a whole bunch. So it's going to be a balancing act between place differential points and dominator points this week. So I think that might help spread out the ownership a little bit after you get past the, the Ty Dillons and stuff like that, who is starting at the back of the field. So looking at the race-by-race trend sheet here, looking at the salaries, a couple things stand out to me. Martin Truex Jr.'s price has come down this week, while Kyle Larson and Kevin Harvick's have gone up, so he kind of fits in the middle there. I think he's going to be a solid play this week. Brad Keselowski's #1 on the overall model this week, and his price is down from last week, as well as it's down from his season average as well. Kyle Busch is still down. He went down $200 this week and is about $550 below his season average. Joey Logano's about still $700 down from his season average, but kind of struggling. He might be one that I'll be fading this week. I haven't completely decided on him yet. And scrolling down a little more, the biggest one of the week is Clint Boyer. He's down $1,800 from last week, below 7K for the first time this year, and in that same range, he hasn't been below 8K since Auto Club. That's kind of given me the thought that he's going to be... He did qualify third, so that kind of helps a little bit with ownership, but it's kind of a balancing act there, I guess, to see, because the price is excellent, easy to fit in your GPP lineups, but starting third takes away, so that kind of takes him out of cash game consideration for me. Probably going to look more at GPP for Clint Boyer. Going back to the main cheat sheet, I'm just going to go over a couple of my other top picks this week. So from a dominator standpoint, the guys that I see having the best chance at leading laps, Kyle Larson, he was fastest 10-lap average. He qualified first. He was third in final practice. So he's got the speed. I think he can stick up there. Martin Truex Jr. starting on the front row beside him. He was fastest in early practice today, 7th in final practice. Didn't run a 10-lap, so not real sure there. Kevin Harvick, he was 3rd in the 10-lap averages, starting 11th, 5th in that early practice on Saturday. So he's kind of a candidate that can grab both the bonus points there. Place differential and dominator, can possibly get up front and lead some laps as well. Jimmy Johnson, I'm not completely fading him. He's going to be more of a contrarian play this week. And all the guys in white, I'm not necessarily fading them, just kind of be using them. I'm going to go over just kind of my strategy for the 20 max entry tournaments here in a bit. And the guys in white I will be using in 5 of those 20 lineups. Some of these guys in 5 of those 20 lineups. So not that I'm fading them, just to let you guys know. Keselowski, like I said, he's ranked #1 in the overall rankings this week, mainly because he's been good here in the past. He's never won here, but he's been excellent here. I think he's got 6 straight top 10s, 3 of them top 5s, starting 12, so he's got some place differential value. He's fastest in final practice. Something came on late, probably in the last 10-15 minutes of practice, jumped up to the top of the leaderboard, so they seem to have found something, and he was also 4th fastest in the 10-lap average. Kyle Busch I list as more of a GPP play. The guys in blue are the GPP plays this week, just because he hasn't been good here in the past. So his track history, 2-year and career track history, isn't very good. But he's kind of motivated right now. He hasn't got a win yet this year. He's been right up there close to probably 3 or 4 times to grabbing a win. So he dominated the laps led last week before falling back late in the race with strategy. Starting 4th, so he's +3 in place differential if he was to win, and he was 2nd fastest in both the final 2 practices. His brother Kurt Busch, scrolling down a little bit, looking in the mid 8K range. Got him listed as a GPP play. He's starting 15th. People seeing that he was 15th, 16th in the final 2 practices, 14th in the 10-lap average, might keep them away. He's probably going to be in that 5 to 8% own range. And while he hasn't got the greatest, I think it's 19.7, 19.8 career average finish here. He does have 3 wins, so definitely a viable GPP play. He knows how to win here at Michigan. Eric Jones is going to be up there, probably top 10 ownership again. He's shown top 10 speed, top 5 in final practice, starting 14th. But I think he makes a good play. He's showing some speed here this year in that 77 car. Casey Kane was top 10 in the 10-lap averages, starting 16th. So it doesn't look like he's got a top 10 car this week, but top 15 would be okay for that $7,700 price tag. Daniel Suarez, I talked about him. I think he makes a good GPP play starting from the back just because they changed tires after qualifying. He's only going to get place differential for 20th, so it's really crucial that he gets a top 20, or he's probably going to end up being a bad play, getting that negative place differential value. But he was 6th fastest in 10-lap averages, so he should be able to, with some strategy and with these stages here this year for the first time at Michigan, I think he can probably get up to that top 20, and I'm willing to take the risk if he's going to be 2, 3, 4% owned, somewhere in that range. Clint Boyer, I talked about him, and then going down a little bit further, Trevor Bayne, talked about him with his baby coming. As long as he starts the race, I think he's a great play, and we should have some news tomorrow morning. And if anything happens, be sure to just follow my Twitter at Jaeger_bombs9 tomorrow morning, and I will definitely let you know on any updates whether he's going to be starting the race or not. Paul Menard, a little tricky for me this week. He's got some good track history, but it's more 3, 4, 5 years ago. The cars have changed a little bit since then. He hasn't done as well since, but he does have that track history. He is starting 30th, and he did show some speed better than his qualifying position. So I think he makes a GPP play, but going to do a little bit more reading just through Twitter and stuff. And if it feels like he's going to be in the top 10 ownership just because of that career track history, I'm probably going to end up fading Menard. But again, I can update all of that through my Twitter, through the comments section, and the chat. Ty Dillon, we discussed him. He's probably going to be really chalky this week, starting. He looks like he's there in 37th, dead last this week. No negative place differential value, so that's really good. So even a 30th place finish is going to get him enough points to pay off that $6,100 value, or $6,100 price tag, I mean. And then the last guy down that 5K range, if you're doing stars and scrubs, you maybe want to put Dillon and Castle together. He's starting 36. He didn't show much speed better than that, but again, he's only got a -1 place differential possibility and then positive anywhere from there. So anything inside 36, I think, is a win at $5,200. It's more about getting to another top-end driver, jumping up from the mid-range here in the 7Ks and jumping up, getting a Kurt Busch, or even up and getting 2 or 3 of these top guys above the 9K range this week. So those are some of my top plays. If you have any questions with the cheat sheet, any of my picks, any picks that you may be looking at, how to decipher the cheat sheet and pick the best guys, hit me up on Twitter, like I said, at Jaeger_bombs9, or you can jump over to DFSR chat room. So on any page, as long as you're logged in, just click on the public chat room. I'm going to be there tomorrow morning, probably 3 hours before lock and right up until lock. You see my name here. You're going to see green tomorrow morning showing that I'm in the chat room. You can click on the little chat bubble and send me a private message, or just throw your question out in the main chat. There'll be a lot of baseball chat going on, so if you want a little bit better response, more personalized response, just hit me up in a private message. Be sure to like the video and subscribe for any other videos I got coming. I do PGA, MLB, NHL when the season's in, NFL when it comes. Always doing more videos, and willing to hear you guys' feedback on anything else that you'd like me to do. Thanks a lot. Let's see some green screens on Sunday, and have a good race.